Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast, episode 117. And I am super excited for tonight. We have a very special guest host, one of the best friends of the show. She created our 100th episode POAP. We interviewed her last year. She was on our live on Twitter. Everybody knows Mumbot. What is up, Mumbot? It's happy to have you here. And then she also brought an all-star crew with her. So this is going to be really exciting.
Yay. What's up, Michael? So
What's
happy to
up?
be here. Thank you for asking me to join in. Love you guys.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Andy and I were talking about some fun things to do during Jenny's little hiatus. And this was one of the first things we came up with. And we love the Ghost Club. We always talk about the Ghost Club. And this is really exciting. I appreciate you so much. You're one of the most genuine people that I've met in the entire space since I've been here. It's always great to see you in person and chat in these. We always have a good time. So what's going on with you?
Yeah, first of all, we really appreciate your support. And every time you guys mention us, I hear it because I'm a fan. I love NFT Catcher Podcast. Yeah, we miss you, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Is not here. So what's she doing?
It's not the same. She's just taking a little bit of time off, just she'll be back probably sometime in February whenever she decides. But we love Jenny. We're holding down the fort and having a good time and still chatting on the side. So she's doing well. And yeah.
So I brought some of my favorite people from Ghost Club. Some of my favorite. Everyone's my favorite in Ghost Club, but there's some specific favorites. Of course, Defiant, co-founder of Ghost Club, is here with me. We also have the legendary artist Pop Wonder.
Yo.
And incredible artist extraordinaire all the way from Indonesia, Ykha.
Hey.
Wow, welcome everybody. What a pleasure.
Yeah, so I guess should we just have everybody introduce themselves? And
that's a great idea. Everyone should introduce themselves, even if you want to give a little background, whatever it is, feel free.
Okay, if you don't know me, I guess I'll go first, just in case you don't know who I am. I'm Mumbot. I am an artist, world builder, storyteller, creator of Mumbot World brand, and founder of international creative community Ghost Club.
I'll go next. I'm Pop Wonder, aka JP Downer. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I'm a illustrator. Been in the NFT space for coming up a couple of years now, and love being part of the Ghost Club on the side here. It's a lot of my favorite illustrators and artists involved in it, and happy to be here on the pod.
Nice,
awesome. Ykha, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Ykha. I'm all the way from Indonesia. Good morning, everybody. I've been in the NFT space since 2021, and I've been an illustrator since 2008. I've been freelancing and all over the place. And I have my own character. Her name is Babot. It's from my French bulldog. And since NFT, I've been drawing all kinds I've been adding more and more of her imaginary friends.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to be in the Ghost Club. It's been really wonderful. So everyone's so talented. It's crazy.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. What's up, guys? I'm Defiant. I think at first I'm IRL partner with Mumbot. I think at the end of the day, I'm a fan, a collector, and I guess co-founder of Ghost Club. Yeah, here to just kind of support the community. I love the space, I love the artists, and I love everything about what's going on in Web3. And I'm here to build.
Love that. Yeah, Ghost Club, like you said, Ghost Club's kind of, it's like a group of artists, like artists, if that makes sense. Like I first started meeting a lot of the people in there in those early Clubhouse days with you, Mumbot, obviously. And Pop Wonder, I remember your name was coming up early and often. Like, I remember people saying, Pop Wonder's blowing up. And I was looking, you have such a style that like whenever you see a piece of yours, you know it's a Pop Wonder. No one has to tell you, and I think that's a compliment for artists. I'm not an artist myself. I wish I was, but like
it is, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you could always tell your pieces, and I've always watched. I actually have my notifications on for you because you put out such cool stuff, and even like you retweeted Wooden Cyclops earlier today, who I'm a giant fan of his also. So it's cool. I like your feed, and I love the stuff you put out.
I was at his house when I tweeted that at his son's birthday party with my kids. So yeah, it's
really?
we're homies. Yeah,
how about that?
Yeah,
that's amazing. I met him at VCon.
No, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, VCon was a good time.
Yeah, we love Wooden Cyclops. He's an amazing artist, but he's also, he does Skinned Alive, and he's also done a lot of stuff for the community, just in terms of helping other artists as well. So yeah, we love him. He's
also shout out Pop Wonder being such an inspiration for a lot of other artists in the community early on. Like I would say early 2021, just seeing how you were operating, how you were setting up your collections and everything. A lot of people were able to kind of see how you were doing things and learn from it. So yeah, just shout out to being a parent and being in this space. It can be really tiring to do everything that we have to do to stay up on everything and also create the art and stay, you know what I mean? And then keep those hours.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Early on in my NFT journey, I was listening to some artists speak, and one of them said something that always stuck with me, that artists in the NFT space have to wear so many hats. Like you just said, you have to be a marketer, you have to create content, you have to be a social media, you have to keep up on that, even multiple social medias. But artists mainly want to just create art. Like you guys would probably rather just, put stuff out. So I don't know if that resonates, but it resonated with me early on how hard you have to work.
Yeah, it is true. You have to do all that stuff. And some people will just say like, oh, you should at this point maybe get somebody to run your Twitter. And it's like, well, a big part of Twitter and your voice is like, actually, doing it yourself and when not having everything like scheduled out and like, okay, I'm going to post this. It's just it's much more spontaneous, and that makes it much more organic. And you just, and I found that about the financial side, about this, about that. It's like even if you hire people to do it, you still have to be in constant contact with them, giving them all the information, make sure they're doing it right. So you really, if you can, it's better to just do it yourself anyway.
Yeah, I actually would also add that I've received I've received a lot of good feedback from the community. They can tell that I write my own stuff, and sometimes I'll get like compliments. I'm like, I can tell you really enjoy writing the copy for that or the descriptions that you used, So just knowing that those little details do matter is more encouragement, more motivation. I think it helps. It means something, like that you put that time in and people actually appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it can be a lot.
I think you bring up a good point, Michael. I think being a successful creative person in any industry, you have to look at it in two ways. You have to look at it. One side is, yes, you are an artist, you are a creative. And then the other side is you have to manage a small independent business. And I think you need to balance that in order to kind of, find success. You have to be able to manage your accounts. You have to be able to manage your marketing, all that stuff. But yeah, you very much have to have that business side of you to kind of stay aligned. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's here to kind of, generate income. We all want to find what we love to do. And in order to do that, you have to have everything buttoned up.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Good, really good point.
I was going to say there's no wrong way to do things. Like I think we've all seen artists do well who never use Twitter Spaces. We've seen some artists who communicate better through other means. And I think as long as you're still communicating in some way, in some form, if it's like written or you're just, being consistent with like your content that you put out, I think that's good enough.
It is quite a lot, but we could also really have fun doing it all. And by the end of the days, after seeing all that we do, the marketing, the twittering, the chatting with all, there's a point that, wow, I can really do that all by myself. We all should be proud.
So the three artists, I'd love to hear kind of what was your aha moment when did everybody, Pop Wonder, you came from traditional art world. I know Mumbot did. And how about you, Ykha? Were you kind of a traditional artist before?
Yeah.
I heard them mention Vans ads. You can even talk about that if you want, what you did before, but I'd like to know like when and how people realized. So both you guys, how did you realize NFTs were a place to be and that you wanted to explore?
Go ahead, Ykha.
Well, I only started digital drawing since 2020. I bought an iPad. And it's like learning to draw all over again because I'm really not used to drawing on screen. But yeah, after NFT, it's been like really, really fun. The whole space it's just too much inspiration. After entering the Ghost Club, and I see all the traditional artists is now doing their own thing, but also including their traditional craftsmanship. It's really mind blowing. It really gives a drive to us to be good traditionally and also digitally. Like it's really, really awesome. Yeah,
cool.
I've been drawing on paper for like maybe 15 years, 14 years. Yeah.
You're from Indonesia. I heard you're there now. Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
Cool. That's my wife. That's one of her bucket list trips we have to take.
Oh.
I'm looking. I just went to your Twitter. I see that we follow each other, and I didn't realize that before this. And I'm looking. I mean, your art is so cool. That kind of bubblegum pink color. Lots of really awesome animations. Like absolutely beautiful. We're gonna make sure to link everybody's socials in the show notes, so everybody definitely go check it out. But that's cool to hear your perspective and what made you get into it, and that you just started in digital art. So what were people talking about your Vans ads? Is it a picture of you or is it like your art on the ads? What do you got going on there?
I've been working with Vans around 3 years now. So I got in a contract with them as their brand ambassador from Indonesia, like in the art department. And last year they asked me to do their mural for their store opening in one of the malls. Yeah, they asked me to do two designs for every 6 months. Yes. After that, another artist is gonna do it. So the mural is gonna keep changing. So I think that's a really, really cool thing for them to highlight all the local talents. I think all the fans are doing it all over the world.
Oh, that's so cool. I actually see. If I just Google your name and Vans, it comes right up and sees that. That's really neat. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, Michael.
Cool. Yeah. So Pop, what made you get into NFTs? What was your aha moment?
Yeah, well, going back, I've been a musician my whole life, a bass player, and that's what I focused on. But then at a certain point, about 5 or 6 years ago, I really realized that I needed to supplement that a little bit with something else, right? So I started doing design and graphic design mostly for bands and venues around town here in Portland. Okay. And it was kind of like coming back to art that I used to do as a kid, but it was pretty graphic design based. And I was at the same time working on getting my illustration chops back up. And then when the pandemic hit, I had extra time because a bunch of my tours got canceled and every gig got canceled. And so I had like this extra space to be creative. And I started doing these pieces, the Pop Wonder World pieces. And I had recently, like right as the pandemic hit, I also came up with the name Pop Wonder for my design studio. And then on the side, I did Pop Wonder World, which was just illustrations. And that was just completely for my own benefit. I just wanted to have something that was like as pure of the artistic output as I could get without anybody else's, input. And then after about a year of doing that stuff, one of my friends who was into crypto and NFTs, he texted me and he was like, send me some articles. He sent me some articles. He sent me some, told me about what was going on, and I jumped right into it. And so I owe him a lot, and I always try to help him out when I can and hang out and stuff. And my aha moment after that was pretty much just like over the course of a few months, actually selling a couple of pieces. Then I did my first edition, and I started my editions collection, and then those sold out pretty quick. And I'm like, okay, so even if I'm not, selling stuff for thousands of dollars, I could do an edition. I could sell each one for $100. That's the same as like, what I would make off a poster or something like that. But this is just me, and delivering a digital thing is a lot more easy and streamlined than physical prints and all these other things where you have to have a bunch of feedback from people, and there's shipping involved, and there's all these things. So when I kind of was like, okay, I can kind of like do the same thing just for me and my art that I love, and then it just built from there. And eventually, like you said, like certain things happened where it started just hitting next level, very surreal moments, but and then over the summer it was just kind of like off and running.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I mean, so it's almost like a dream. Did you ever imagine that it would get so big so quick like that? Like, that must really feel good.
Yeah, I thought, I just was hoping that maybe instead of spending, 6 hours on a logo for somebody for $500, I could spend 6 hours on my own drawing and make $500, instead,
Yep.
So
cool. We have Mumbot and Defiant back. It looks like a little Wi-Fi mishap. It's good to see you guys.
I think lightning struck the house. That's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh my God.
The conversation here was just so good.
Yeah.
Lightning bolt was just like.
Uh-oh.
I'm glad to be
back.
We were just getting into both of their stories about how they realized the NFTs were the place to be, and really cool kind of origin stories and good backgrounds and everything. I didn't even know that you were a musician, a bass player before that, and so that's
yeah. And I still play, and now that gigs are happening again, I'm going on tour. I'm playing around town. It's fun. So it's like, now I get to do all the things I love, and it's great.
Is it what's your band name?
The Portland Cello Project is my main band.
Okay.
And it's a big, we usually have
PCP on purpose, right? Yeah.
That's part of it. Yeah, that's our chant.
Yeah, that was funny.
But yeah, and it's great. It's like usually about 10 of us going on the road. Everybody's super cool, and we play like 500,000 seat theaters and all over the country, and people love it, and it's great. It's really
coming to South Florida.
Nothing right now, but hopefully one day. We're pretty
a lot of bands don't make it down this way. I don't know if it's a different musical scene, isn't it?
I like Florida too, and so I'm always down to go. Yeah.
We want to see you play too.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully coming. I thought we were going to do a lot more East Coast this year, but it looks like again we're kind of sticking around the Northwest and Midwest.
Do you? Random question. Do you find that music is something that's influential in your work?
Not like directly, but maybe like just the life that I've had where I get to do something creative, and it's like it's an interesting job, and you meet interesting people, and you have interesting experiences, and so that definitely inspires like my work, just the way that I've lived my life and been around and talked to a million different people and had a lot of different perspectives, because perspectives is one of, I think, the most valuable thing that you can collect, is just to hear and internalize the perspectives from all sorts of different people that are different from you, because there are a lot, and you're just you're one little insignificant perspective, but if you can hear as many as possible, then you can become a more well-rounded person, and that comes through in the art too.
Oh my gosh, 100% agree with that so much.
I think it's cool too that you have an opportunity to kind of split between the two worlds, and you can kind of focus in on the art when you're into it, and then if you need a break, you can focus in on the music. It's something that I think a lot of people go through in this space, right? Everyone's really hardcore about, making artwork, but, there's a big thing about, getting a little bit burned out, or, there's, you're focused in on that too much. And I think you having that kind of split is pretty interesting. I know Mumbot's kind of got that too. It's like she's got the digital art, she's got the toy design, she's, always going back from different mediums. And and
for me, music I've been doing for so long that it's second nature to me. I'm much more competent bass player than I even am as an artist. And so it's not super tough for me to like, it doesn't take a ton of like energy to like get ready for a gig or get ready for a tour. And I'm also not like the band leader or the person in charge. So they just tell me where to show up, what music to know, and then I just do it. And it's fine. And I got my iPad with me. I can draw too at the same time. So some of my pieces are even just started in the van or in the hotel room or at the sound check or, because like I'll also sit there on stage for an hour while the cellos are, checking their mics, but I got to be there in case they need me or whatever. So I'm drawing too. So it's pretty ideal. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think you were about to go on stage when we had a live auction. I was at the Goblin Town party in Miami, and our last live auction, it was so fun because I was like, I realized that it was my first time, I think, being somewhere while a thing was happening live and people were around me, like from the space. Like I haven't had that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe VCon counts, but it was also different because it wasn't like we were like going from a spot to a spot kind of. And during the auction, it wasn't like that. But during our auction, it was ending while I was around people.
Right.
Like Adam Tastic was right by me and Brian Brinkman and like the Goblin Town folks. So it was like, and then I'm on, messaging you and you're like, I'm about to go on stage. This is fun.
And I had my phone on the music stand. I remember I was like, even like on stage, I was like, quick check, like where is it at? Is it ended yet? It's pretty funny.
Awesome.
So funny.
Do you ever think about doing pop-ups at like the NFT conferences, like VCon, NFT NYC? I bet people would go nuts for that. If it got out on Twitter, Pop Wonders band, like people flooded special PO-app, like that'd be kind of crazy.
It would be cool. I mean, yeah, everybody's got their number, right? It just takes a certain for that band. You talk to the booking agent.
I'm sure.
But the money is here, and it's like it's not an insane amount. It's just that there's 10 of us, and everybody needs to be taken care of. So,
of course, yeah.
But like that would be incredible.
That would be. I mean, I picture that at VCon, and like if that ticket is an NFT, like I don't know, people go nuts for that.
Yeah,
they really would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about you, Ykha? Do you play any instruments or do anything other hobbies besides visual art?
I used to be in a band actually.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, but I moved to Jakarta from I moved cities, and the other personnel were all the way there, and then we started having family of our own, and the band I used to scream on stage.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
It's
Me
like
too.
a whole other life.
Whoa, I want to see videos of that.
Ykha,
oh my god.
me too, Ykha. I was also in a couple bands, and one of the bands I also had some screaming parts. So it's really fun.
High five.
There's a couple of people in the Ghost Club that have been musicians, right? Miss Muju, Frenemy was like full on, right?
Daniel Crossan, Frenemy, Miss Muju. Who else? There's a few people. Neil Ewing.
There's probably some sort of connection to the subculture, right, of music and art, and I think that's why you see a lot of people kind of gravitate.
Yeah, a lot of like the people in Ghost Club could be considered lowbrow artists, and that like goes along with punk rock and skateboarding and graffiti and all these things. So there's a good chance that somebody's going to be kind of have dabbled into a couple of those fields that are related to weirdo art.
Yeah, totally.
And hip hop. Yeah,
I love that. What's so cool too is like Ykha being from Indonesia, they got like a whole crew over there, and they're not identical in terms of like people or style, but just mindset, right? Like everyone's trying to like make their art, they're doing what they love, they kind of are all into the same thing. So I think that's one of the coolest things about being in this space and Ghost Club is you're finding all these common threads throughout the world of creative people, and Web3 is kind of giving us an opportunity to kind of network together. And
Ykha, you guys just had a big meetup the other day, right? Your whole crew.
Not the whole crew. It's like maybe half of the crew.
Right? Drama.
So shout out Indonesian crew.
Oh yeah, Lunik, Renzi, Rama, right? The whole
Yeah,
Dude, we're
yeah,
such big fans of them too, right?
I just met Rama the other day.
How many countries do you think Ghost Club represents, more or less? Probably a decent amount.
At least 15 to 20, I would say.
Wow.
Whoa.
You got Frenemy, and he's from America, but he's in Malaysia. You have Benzilla, who's in Thailand.
We have Michael Chua, who's in Malaysia.
Yeah, he's in Malaysia. The Buju's in the UK. Daniel Cresson.
Got some from Singapore. We've got some from Korea. We have some from Japan. We have people who are in Japan.
Canada, South America.
France.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. That's pretty impressive. That is awesome.
Love it.
And what was I know, Mumbot, I know you're always looking, like even from the old Clubhouse days, obviously we did our room together and you're like always looking to help other people. What was the reason you started Ghost Club?
Yeah, first of all, I guess I should say it comes natural because that's something that I've always been part of communities. It kind of Defiant as well. Like, we've both been building community, just always interested in doing stuff like this pre-pandemic. I was also like this, like DIY punk rock community days, like early on, and I'm the type of person who wants to, like, if I want to do something, I'll do it. Like if I want to get my friends together and do a show, we'll figure it out and we'll put a show together or whatever. But definitely during the pandemic, it was specifically like when I heard about Clubhouse, the audio chat app, I was like, actually, Defiant was doing something on Clubhouse and it was like some hip hop related panel and he wasn't using it at all. And he and I was like, yo, give me an invite for that app.
Right.
Check it out. I heard that you can, because I had been interested in NFTs for a while. And I was like hearing that there was some good resources coming through on there. So I was like, all right, let me go check that out. And as soon as I joined, I set up a Clubhouse club called Ghost Club. And my mission was really just to connect with artists and creative people internationally. And it was all about, sharing resources, education, uplifting others, interacting. And when I was on there, I realized like I joined a lot of other people's clubs and met friends. And some of my favorite ones were the ones where people were just chilling, quietly working. And we would literally just change our PFP, or at the time it was called PTR, because it was you had to pull to
refresh. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it was like, we would be sitting there in a room for hours just working on whatever we're working on. And then I might pop in and be like, hey, can somebody check this out? Like, does it look like I need more highlights right here? Or how's this composition looking to you? What do you think? Like, I'm thinking it looks kind of weird. And we would all help each other. We had people like L'Amour Supreme and Lurk Loves You and, Pop Wonder when we were lucky when he came through because he was pretty busy already by the time that
I spent a lot of time in the Loper Art Collective early on. I was, But yeah, it was the same thing. Just like you're saying, what's this thing with MetaMask? How do I do a contract and get paid for this mural? How much do I charge per square foot? What kind of paint are you using? All that stuff. Just a full-on information, dump is great.
It's still happening today too. It's like, now it's like, how do I create my contract on Manifold? What's going on with these open editions? So there's very much like a sharing of information to kind of adapt to the trends that are happening in the market. So there's a strategic kind of benefit of being in a network like this because, people here, everyone's spread out. So everyone's bringing that back to, the community and then sharing that information. So,
and you have to remember that there's new people entering the space all the time as well. And it's nice, like having Ghost Club where it's grown to be at where it's at now. I mean, we've collected so much information. We have so many people there and we have so much more to offer at this point. So I mean, sometimes I forget, like, I should just write up a little thing real quick about what's the difference between like on-chain versus not on-chain. Like, has anyone even heard this before? And then I realized a bunch of artists were like, I didn't even know about that, So, just like dynamic NFTs versus static NFTs. Like sometimes I'll just drop a little nugget in NFT 101 channel, or we'll have workshops, we'll have guests come in. We have Nifty Kit coming in soon. They want to talk to the community. We've had people come in and teach everybody about smart contracts. We've had people come through and talk about keeping your stuff safe and cold storage, all of these different things.
Yeah, that's so important. That must be kind of rough with, like, if you have an artist and by the way, you could get robbed if you click on a link that's not good. Like, that's pretty scary. And there's been a lot of really bad ones recently.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's security is definitely a big issue in the space.
Yeah,
and
it's a big issue.
I think, again, keeping everybody informed is important, not just to people in the space, but also onboarding. It's a really big obstacle, right? Because you never tell.
No, I mean, it's a lot of people say NFTs are a scam, and that's one of the main reasons is because there are a lot of scams and a lot of bad actors.
That's why that's why someone like me, I'm kind of like a little introverted, but I'm like an introverted extrovert. So it's like when there's moments where I feel like I need to be really loud about something that I happen to feel passionate about, I've become very motivated to do so. So nice. Especially like what you said, there's so many bad actors, and that gets all these like headlines and media attention. So it's even more important for us to kind of continue to do what we're doing.
Yeah. No, that's really true. I think one of the biggest takeaways I get from what we're just saying is it's really important for anybody coming into the space to find their community, whether it's with you guys or somewhere on Twitter space where you can learn from other people that have been through it. And that, there's tons of great knowledge out there, tons of people that are willing to help. And that's really important. And, I love that you do that. And I know that you care about helping other artists and just raising people up. Like, it's really cool. Ghost Club's incredible for that. I love it.
Let's go.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it's adapting all the time too. Like, you're starting to see things kind of move in a different direction. And these are things that we've always seen, from the beginning, but like collaborations are popping up, where artists are working with, other artists that maybe they've always wanted to. You're seeing people explore new mediums. Let's say like there's a musician that comes into this space and, he's collaborating with this particular artist, or this animator's with that person. There's a lot of benefits that we're starting to see as a creative community, and we're looking forward to the future of building with these guys, not just, our community and events, but like real projects that I think can kind of stand out amongst the midst of all these other big projects. When you have a room full of creatives, at the top of their game that are consulting for every major industry in the space, I have a lot of faith in the potential of what we can build as a group. And I'm loving it.
We should touch on the fact that, just like to chime in on what you're saying, we have so many different types of talented, creative people in our community. We have video game designers and developers. We have sculptors, painters, graphic designers, digital artists, and animators, 3D animators, 2D animators. I could keep going. We have like so many cool, talented people in the community, stop motion animators.
Totally. And big artists too. And new artists as well. That's the other cool thing. It's like, that's what's so great about having people like Pop Wonder and Ykha, is because they inspire so many people in this space, so like any new artist that wants to kind of learn stuff, it's like, here's a conversation with Pop Wonder, you can learn this, or, here's Ykha inspiring all these people from over there. And it's just a really good, authentic community.
Yeah. And for me, I wouldn't have even got to that place if other people didn't do that for me and inspire me and help me. Because when I first started with the Lowbrow Art Collective, I was like a nobody. I had, I was just drawing my stuff for fun on Instagram. That was literally it. All these other people had these great careers already and all this great resume and everything, but they treated me as an equal. So I try to do the same and, help people who are just starting out as well. Because it would have never happened for me if other people didn't do it for me.
That's
So true.
Oh yeah.
same
You
with
do, you
me.
do help so many people in so many ways. It's not just like the way like your role is in terms of how you set stuff up, but even, I love the fact that like even with your success that you're still putting it back into the ecosystem and supporting other artists, with, collecting their art and buying their art. I think it says a lot about.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love art and and like I love supporting artists and I love NFTs. So it's like, yeah, I'm packing my bags, man. I love this shit. I'm doing it.
I remember
All in.
you collected one of my first drops on not my first drop on Ethereum, but it was like after I finally had a sale and I finally minted something again after like 6 months. I think it was the Shumi's ice cream treat. I remember you collected one. It was like 0.04.
Yeah, that's the thing. If it's like, and I'm making, this ETH and it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to drop 0.04 on something that I love, somebody who I want to support. It just makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that's what I love too about the open editions, right? Like I see a lot of artists dropping those, and they're really, starting price is really affordable. So now it's like all of a sudden I get to collect all these great artists at a price I can afford, like Wakana and like even Demon John and like
Gillen. Did you see
Gillen,
his animated masterpiece? He had
unreal.
Yeah,
unreal.
He had an unreal like. A beautiful animated masterpiece that was
the full-on animation. Oh my god!
Yeah. So all you guys are animating. Ykha, I love the collection you're doing with D909, all those music / animations.
Yeah, those are amazing.
Great.
Those are really.
I bet they're fun to do, huh?
I keep pushing him like, come on, do more, do more. He's like, do people really want this? Like, yeah, come on. Like, he's actually the one who made me start NFT, and then he was like, yeah, draw this, draw that, and he got like this whole folder of the music he was making since I don't know, like maybe 2007, and it was all bangers. I was like, nice, dude, you should make this. Like, I'll help with the visual. Let's do it. And then we came up with Disco Kid 909.
Disco Kid. Yeah, I love that. I love that project. It's so awesome. I think I have one of those.
Nice.
Are you guys familiar with that at all? It's a
I don't think I am.
Oh, it's really cool. Yeah, you gotta check it out.
What's it called? Say it again. Disco Kid 99?
909. Disco 909. Kid 909.
Cool. No, 1,000% gonna check it out.
Dude, I can't wait to go to Indonesia and hang out with all the artists, right, Mumbot, Pop?
Me
like,
too,
we gotta make it over there one day.
We can't wait. We'll probably go this summer. It's
really,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah, we will. Of course. What do you mean? We're gonna hang out.
Well, that's kind of how we feel. Like now, anytime we're going somewhere, it's like we're looking for meetups with Ghost Club, right? We did it at Designer Con. We did it in New York.
In LA,
Southeast. And we did it in LA.
God, please bring merchandise. Please bring merchandise.
Oh, of course.
Oh, dude,
that New York meetup was literally one of my highlights of NFT NYC. Are you talking about the one at Jason Naylor's studio?
Yeah,
that was
awesome.
I was like I'm the only one in there that's not an artist. Everyone's sitting around the table, like drawing all this stuff, like just super talented. I mean, Brian Morris, I've been a fan of forever, and like,
Brian's so
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, Brian's so cool. There's some awesome people, like so much talent. And there's a little room with like whatever it was, 25 people. That I was really lucky to be there. That was pretty awesome.
Thanks for coming to that.
That was a highlight. No, that was really, really cool.
Yeah, Jason was great. And again, that was like, we did that, like we just did it like out of the blue. We planned it a little bit, but out of that came so many things, right? There's a collaboration between Jason Naylor and Mumbot that went on to become, they did the live art, and then they minted it and it sold to one of our favorite collectors. And at the same time, we were passing out all these stickers and like little cards that essentially is the inspiration for what our next drop is.
Yeah, talk about the next drop.
Yeah,
so our next 100%. Drop is we're creating a collection called the Ghost Club Black Book. And like back in the day, all the artists used to carry this black book, and inside of it was, it'd be art, sketches, artists are passing the books around, everyone's sharing, putting new work in it, there's stickers, and we like that connection. We think the idea of having a digital black book collection that will just house a bunch of collaborations and artists' work in it. Could be something really different, right? It provides this differential value over other things because there's just so many creatives in there. There's so much IP that, like we're so excited. So the first project in that collection is what we call our sticker collection. They're like OG slaps, like, graffiti artists and artists would customize, these stickers, and then they would tag them and throw them all over the place in the streets. So we created digital templates of them. And every month, starting in January, we're going to like bring on 20 new artists. They're going to customize these pieces, and we'll drop a collection.
Yeah. So end of this month is the first drop. We had another project, which was a collaboration with All City Style at DesignerCon as well, which was the trains that we customized physical trains, 10 artists total, and we auctioned those off. The NFTs, there was an NFT that is bundled with a physical train, and we auctioned those off, and that was a sold out project. And this is our first like non-collaboration, but it's obviously all these way more artists in this one than that one.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. What if there's an artist listening that wants to get involved in Ghost Club? Do they go to the Discord? Is it kind of like, do they reach out to you guys and say, hey, like, and do you get like accept people, or do you just welcome everybody? How's that work out? If somebody's listening right now,
we send them to the pits with Neil Ewing and Audio Mouth, and if they can get through that, then they're okay. No, it's open. It's like we come to the Discord. It's be active. You know what I mean? And the issue that we have now is that there's such a large queue of artists coming in, right? So we have to think in terms of scaling, in terms of like how the Discord grows and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're live streaming, we're creating every day in our Discord. So if people want to get involved, you just got to come there, and show support to all the artists, retweet, be active on their accounts, follow, comment. That's basically it. That's how we run.
That's the coolest thing. I mean, you guys doing it all for the right reasons, and for it's really cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I have some questions for the guest artists in the chat.
Love it.
All right. So I have two questions. One is what's been like your most what's like the biggest moment that you've had so far that kind of made you feel like just like completely maybe overwhelmed or surprised, like that you thought something you never thought would happen coming from this experience in the space so far as an artist? And then secondly, like, is there some kind of special goal that you have or that you want to reach for, or something like that? You go.
I'll go first. Yeah. Well, there's things like being a speaker at VCon, which we did together, Mumbot and I. That was like, I've been a fan of Gary Vee. He's, in my eyes, like very legit dude. And I've always been inspired by him. So that was really cool. And I got to be on a podcast called the Duncan Trussell Family Hour, which was one of my favorite podcasts.
You were on that podcast?
Yeah.
I got to go listen. I love that. Duncan Trussell is hilarious, dude.
So like, I mean, I was listening to him religiously back when I had my like a warehouse job.
That guy cracks me up. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. So there was that. If we're talking about like in the NFTs, like directly, like there was a moment when my stuff was selling pretty regularly for between like 0.5 and 1 ETH, and then somebody went and bought my Genesis piece on the secondary market for 10 ETH, and I don't know how I got, or like, I think the guy like messaged me and told me he was doing it, and I looked at my wife and I was like, this just happened. Like somebody just bought my piece for 10 ETH, and she's like, well, that's amazing. And I was like, and it's like not about like the royalty or anything. I was like, this is just like a shift in perception of the value of my artwork. So I just knew that was going to be, and it was, it changed a lot of stuff for me. So those are basically the big moments that I was the most proud of. And as far as like plans for the future, I really, and I've run my stuff this way, but I want to be just an artist. I don't want to make a bunch of promises to people. I don't want people, even though they already do it, but I don't want people to buy my art expecting something in the, obviously you want it to go
when
up
token. When
Yeah.
token, no.
Yeah, you want it to go up in value, but it's like it's a long game. And I have all the confidence in myself and all the faith that my artwork, if NFTs are still valuable in the long term, then my tokens will also be valuable. So my goal with this is obviously I want to do interesting things with the technology and stuff, but I also want to just be able to put out artwork for the sake of it being art and have people collect it for that reason. So that's, that's basically like my goal. And I've turned down a lot of possibly lucrative things like PFP projects and all these things, in
I
order
can't
to
imagine. You must have had 100 people try and get you to do a PFP.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Awesome.
No, that's awesome, Pop. And I gotta say, it's not hard. It's not easy to resist some of those temptations either.
Yeah.
And to see you kind of stay true to your art and the way you manage your collections has a lot of influence on the way that I look at stuff too. So, I love the way that you're structuring, your business and model and all that stuff.
Appreciate it.
What's the highest one of your pieces is sold for?
For ETH value is like 59 something.
59 ETH?
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you, brother. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And I don't
incredible.
I remember when that happened and I saw it and I was like, this must be like a record breaking moment. Like I think I only saw a little bit of NFT news pick it up with some other major news. I was like, why isn't this? I went on like a Twitter space and I remember I was talking about it because I didn't hear anybody else. And I was like,
yeah, as well. All it really takes is two people that want it equally as bad, and in this case it was actually 9 people that pooled together their money and they were going against one other guy and they were going back and forth and they had
was it any of the famous collectors? I think Deez collects you, doesn't he?
It was Deez. The piece is called Experience Yourself. I knew that when I finished it I was like, yeah, people are going to dig this one. And as soon as I posted it, people were like kind of going crazy. And I was like, okay, great. And I just did it like any other auction. But yeah, like I said, just so happened that there was enough interested parties that it drove the price up that high. And that was it was early this year. ETH wasn't quite what it was I should say it was early 2022 or early to mid. And ETH wasn't quite where it was. I actually had higher sales in USD, before that.
Okay.
But lower in ETH. So, but still, it's like, for me, it's about the ETH value because that's what we're doing here. So that was huge for me. And it's kind of hard because it's like they're not selling for that much anymore. That's just the nature of the market. It's going to go up and down. I mean, I'm still selling stuff for a good amount, and like I would never have ever dreamed that I would be one of these people who sells artwork for anything over $200. So I'm thrilled with the result of everything that I do.
Cool.
It's
That's
awesome. I just know that it's super long term and anything could happen with my art, with the market overall, with Ethereum, with the other crypto that I own. Who knows, maybe I won't have to draw anymore if some other shitcoin that I'm holding pumps like crazy. But I still will. But that's the thing. So I'm not like, I definitely don't really stress over, oh no, is this one going to go for more? Is it, is it going to, people going to think that, I'm washed up because it's not selling for as much or whatever. But it's like, not everyone's going to sell for 60. That's for sure.
Yeah, you having such a level head, I think is a really important lesson for a lot of people. The fact that you were selling stuff for that much, the fact that your stuff is still going for a high price, and the fact that you're still operating in the same manner is a testament to who you are. But also, like, for me, it's just like, dude, this dude he's on it, right? Like, he's totally focused, he's doing what he does, and whatever smoke is happening around him, yeah, for sure he'll react. But
yeah, and I just try to keep my perspective from where I was before this, especially during the pandemic when, as a musician, we were all totally screwed. Like, and my graphic design work was all for bands and venues and festivals and things like that. That all went away too. So I was like making like $1,000 a month for a little while. Like, I was, and that's like pretty good. Like, and I was just like, okay. And being a career musician my whole life, I've had like crappy part-time jobs or full-time jobs, but I've never had like money, savings, security, anything like that. So everything that's happened to me since has been gravy. It's like I already did it. I'm 40 now. I already did so long of just scraping by that, like, that's what's normal. That's my baseline, just surviving. So it's like, yeah, I mean, whatever I get on top of that is like amazing.
Fuck yeah. Congrats to you, dude.
Respect.
Love that. Yeah.
Respect.
Love that.
Love that. Awesome,
Congrats.
Pop. Thank you.
Let me. Yep.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Oh no, do you have more questions, Mumbot? I have one more
wanna
like big
ask
general
Ykha
question. Yeah, please ask.
I just want to ask Ykha the same question. So just kind of curious about like throughout her journey in the space, like what was a pivotal moment for her that she considers maybe one of the most pivotal moments or a couple of them, and then any goals that she has for the future.
Well, every time I sold something, it's always, I don't know, it's always surprising to me whenever something is sold or something, or a collection is sold out. It's like, what? So, yeah, but first of all, I just want to say, like, you and Pop Wonder, like, you both are such a role model. Like, I'm such a big fan. I'm still confused why I haven't, why I just knew you guys now, but just to be here, like talking to you guys now, this is one of the overwhelming moments for me. Like,
you're the sweetest.
Being on the NFT Catcher podcast is a highlight for everybody. We all know that. Thank you, though.
Oh my god,
love you, Ykha.
What's so crazy is that we're such hardcore fans of Ykha as well. It's hilarious. I'm always like, Ykha, dude, do you think Ykha will hang out with us? Do you think she'll be our friend?
We love you, Ykha.
No, like, when you guys when you guys DM me, like, do you want to be in the Ghost Club? Of course I like, what, really? even Rama DMing, like, dude, these people in this Ghost Club, like, these are all like insane people. Like, I'm just trying to look cool here. Like, I'm trying to stay chill, but they are all rock star. Like, don't tell.
Rama's amazing too.
Guys.
Wild.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been quite a ride. I remember my first Genesis on Foundation. Yeah, I just like I never draw something like that before, because I'm so used to client commission. I even at one point I gave up pursuing my own personal art. It was just a side thing that I do just to unwind from all the brief and all the revisions. Yeah, when I started NFT, I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing here. So I just started drawing this Genesis and I mint it, and I look around. Oh no, I think I put the wrong price on it. Like, it was there for like a few weeks, I think. But in my mind, like, other people sometimes took years to get their Genesis picked up. So I was just, okay, I'm gonna draw again, and I'm gonna mint it, and suddenly and I do an additions on known origin, and suddenly people are I got that first email, like, your NFT is sold. It was like, what? But, yeah, and then suddenly the editions sold out, and then I got this other email that said that my one on Foundation is someone bid, and it was Brian Brinkman.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out Brian Brinkman.
I didn't know anything about anyone at that time. Yeah, everybody was he's my first one collector, my first Genesis on Ethereum. Yeah, I actually started on Tezos, and it was selling so badly. I already maybe it was like a couple of cents, maybe. Nobody was buying. Nobody, like, I was like, oh, maybe NFT is just not for me. But and then I focus on IRL on my other work. But after that I tried again. But it was just crazy after that. Someone told me, hey, you should do OpenSea, and then I do the Undercover Bubs collection, and the first one sold out in an hour. It was like, what?
Oh yeah. Dude, we could not get them. I was trying to buy them. It was quick.
I finally in that. What is going on, Tweet?
That's cool. I didn't even know you had Tezos stuff. All of us do Tezos. All three of us. All the artists.
I did. Yeah, I actually did a Tezos exhibition last month on Singapore Art Week.
I saw that. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they asked if I wanted to do a collaboration with Disco Kids, so it was an installation of visual and sound.
That looked awesome.
Yeah, that did look
cool
awesome.
From the pictures.
It was fun. Like people were dancing in the room, listening to the music, and trying to follow the Disco Kid dance movement, which is my dance movement because I cannot dance at all. So it was just awkward and silly dance.
So cool. I love that.
I think we need a demonstration of that dance move.
On live.
There it is.
Probably my dream in this space would be like, my dream would be like to connect to more people, and I can give back that about the experience I've been experienced here. From Brian, he's been a huge supporter from you guys, and then the NFT Asia community. There, like we discussed before, the benefit of being active in the community and keep supporting each other. It's what really it really can help. It's really that helpful. It's all the kindness, all the genuine gesture. All the new artists can also feel like this too, and maybe someday like we can all we can. Oh my God, it will be a dream. Like
oh, do we want to do a show together eventually? That's our
goal.
Yes.
I just wanna keep connecting with more people like this. Like for me to be on this part, like to just speak like this. Yeah, even though it's still like all over the place.
No, you're great. You're doing great. Yeah,
we love it. Dude.
We totally get what you're saying. So, and I feel the same way.
And you also introduce us to so many new artists as well. I mean, I go to you all the time, and I'm like, what other artists are in your area that and you've introduced me to so many talented people that fucking love it, dude. We love that whole Indonesian crew, man. You guys rock, and there's so much talent there, and we feel the same way. How genuine you all are, and it just feels the same, to be honest with you. It feels the same as us. It's like we talk to you guys, and it's like you're going through the same issues that we're going through. And I don't know. I love it. And I can't wait to build more.
I collected some of the artists from your crew before they were in Ghost Club. So like I had collected some Arama, Gogo, some of the work on Tezos like a long time ago.
Yeah, he was an early favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Hell yeah. Dila, Lunatic.
Oh, Dila.
I got so much Dila.
Love Dila. Like, she's a friend from actually early Clubhouse, NFT Asia also, because like we became friends through that actually.
She's amazing.
She actually, some people were in Ghost Club like when it was just a Clubhouse club like back in the day, like, and I think that a lot of the I never even told you this, Michael, but there were some people who reached out to me a year after our Thailand space.
Yep.
Our space that we did together. And one of those people hit me up and said, it's like their 1 year anniversary of that space. And I didn't even realize. And they said it was the first time that it was Simple Cat. Remember Simple Cat?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yeah, and it was someone who works with him, and they were saying that that was their first time ever speaking to like an international community on like a stage or anything about their work, and it was just really cool. I'll send that. I'll forward that to you.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. That was really special. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you guys have been so generous with your time, but I do want to go over one more topic because it's very interesting to me, and I'd love to get an artist's perspective. AI art. I know, like I'm a fan of it, but I'm also not an artist. I know there's a couple pitfalls. I've been reading about that. Did you guys see that Getty Images is suing Stable Diffusion? Did you see what happened there? Getty's claiming the Stable Diffusion like scraped like hundreds of millions of images, and even in some of the Stable Diffusion like readouts, the Getty Images watermark would show up. So it's like, yeah. But
So
I'd love to get perspective on AI art from the artists.
all right, I have comments.
Please.
Okay, personally, I'm a fan of innovation and new things and artists not being limited, and I appreciate all the people who could benefit from being able to do art, like people with disabilities, or somebody who maybe just hasn't really ever felt like they've been able to do art, and so they get to play with AI and they can do something that's creative, right? I have empathy, and I do think things need to change in terms of like what the models were trained on without having the consent from certain artists. Like, you know what I mean? That stuff's a little unfair. So I do think that moving forward, that there should be some kind of a filtration system where it's, pulling from work that people gave permission for it to use. I have a lot more comments, but I'll let someone else go.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think that it's great for people to be able to experiment with, and I like to experiment with it myself. I have no plans or desire to incorporate it into my work, so that's why I don't really feel very strongly about it one way or another. The fact that that it's stealing, I mean, I don't really know to what extent it's stealing work from artists. If the Getty watermark is showing up in there, that's a bad sign. But, I am in a thread, like a group chat with some artists, traditional, artists that are making some mind-blowing stuff with it. Yes. And they're mostly just doing it for experimentation and create, and it's like it's pretty, easy to do. It doesn't take a ton of mental energy. I do think that people should definitely, especially as it's becoming more and more hard to tell that it's AI, that you should disclose that it's AI.
I agree.
Because, I'm not hearing any of this, like, it's just as much work as making art, because it's not. It's cool and you can make amazing stuff with it. But at the end of the day, making a piece of art not only takes many hours usually, but it takes a lifetime or many years of getting good at doing it. And just to be able to draw a nice line, it like takes a long time. And it's like, I'm like I said, I'm super supportive of it. I'm supportive of people using it. But when it comes down to people, basically thinking that they're doing the same thing that a regular artist is doing, you're really not.
I have to add something to what you just said.
Yeah.
Because of the way you ended it on that, I also am in a lot of chats, and I've been in deep conversations about this for like months now. And one of the common comments I've heard from people who are utilizing AI in their art as a tool, there seems to be this mindset that artists think that they have to suffer to do their work, like as if everyone's process is painful or something because it takes a long time. Just for the record, that's not the case for everyone. Like sometimes the process is a meditation, or it's cathartic, or you need to have that flow state because it's like part of your practice. Like I enjoy it, and I'm not saying you can't have some kind of process with your prompts. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just commenting on strictly that mentality that's not across the board accurate. Like to think that artists who take a long time laboriously working on their work are suffering.
It's true, because some of my most popular pieces took me the least amount of time as well.
Cool.
But one thing I think it's very valuable for is that when I was messing around with it, I would type in, wizard escaping from, a mystical prison with orbs, this and that, and then I would see that and see how the output, and then I would change something a little bit, and I would change, refine, and I would, spend like an hour putting in prompts, and that's like it's a great exercise. Like, when was the last time you sat down and wrote out 100 prompts for your own illustration? You never do it, right? And if you did, then you would have like tons of more ideas for pieces of art. So it actually, that part of it, I found very beneficial, because you're actually just coming up with, even if you're not using the final output and you're drawing something completely different with the same prompt to yourself, you're actually coming up with little creative briefs for yourself, which is something that not everybody does all the time.
Interesting.
I think in time AI art will have a position on its own. It's like digital art. When we first started digital art, the traditional art world see it like that, like, yeah, oh, that's an easy way. Like, they can just press undo. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think we see AI art like the way traditional art used to see digital art. But it requires more filter and limits until it's like ethically right, maybe, like Mumbot said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two really good points there. And you actually make a good point, Ykha, when you think about like when, photography started coming out, the painters were like, oh, don't just take a picture of a landscape. That's nothing. And then digital photography, the film photographers were like, nah,
yeah.
And even
exactly.
like when the printing press came out, the people that used to actually write books were like, you're just going to print them out now? Like, that's lame. So there's a lot of that. It's hard to stop progress.
Yeah. Another part of the puzzle
Yeah.
is that it's happening whether we like it or not. So
Right.
you better just be along for the ride, experiment with yourself, figure out where your place is with it. And also just strive to be unique enough and have your own voice enough that you can stand out on your own apart from it.
Yeah.
100%.
I just want to add to it. I think what you also see when that happens, right? When you're starting to see new forms of technology come into industry, I feel like this will happen to art as well. It's where the traditional forms will kind of increase in value in the same way that like a handmade good versus something that's mass produced, it's sought after, right? And it's more expensive, so I think that people that are still kind of in traditional forms of creating art, I see their artists becoming more valuable because they're more rare, and I think showcasing your process is something that we really find important in Ghost Club is also going to be valuable. I think how you get to an end, right, or how you get to a final piece is just as important now. So I think, for artists out there, like, I think one of the things that they should be looking at is, how do I stream my process? How do I document my process? How do I, indicate that, I'm not just typing into a computer this, right? There's like, real concept, there's real work and all that stuff. And I think the other part of that conversation is artists need to understand legal issues around copyright, and they need to kind of verse themselves in what the law is around people using their work, and because this is not going anywhere, it's just going to get faster and better and
not in the next 5 years, in the next 5 weeks. It's happening so fast.
But keep in mind, there's people who have been doing this for years already. Shout out Claire Silver and
totally.
Can name a bunch, but they've
the
trained
whole video game industry
models.
too, right?
Yeah, there's like even in film industry too. Like, there's people who've been doing this for years. They've been they've trained their models. They know how to do everything that they want. Like, they can create the thing that they are intending to create already using the AI, and it comes out like exactly what they want. So there's going to be people who are more advanced at it than the people jumping in now.
Yeah, and I also think I'm in love with the AI, not just the visual part, but I think there's so much more to come from this kind of technology, right? I think controlling data sets and the way that images are populated, I think there's just so much more to come, and I think maybe the best perspective is, don't be so close-minded to some of the stuff that's coming out, and try to utilize some advantages that come from technology, because it's coming fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Yeah, I'm personally not using AI the same way as some of my friends that I'm seeing them using it, but I have like used it in some ways like to show my kids like I already know like it's so funny. I showed my son ChatGPT and he was like, "Oh, I already used something else like that." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And then okay, well then, but he didn't know that ChatGPT was actually cooler than the thing that he was using. So then I got some cool points. But but like just doing all that stuff, interacting with my kids, I always try to like include them in stuff that's happening so that they can learn about it like firsthand. And you know what I mean? I think that that's also important to educate the young people in your life about these.
I think one thing that Pop also touched on that was interesting is efficiency. I think it speeds up a lot of the process. The fact that you don't have to maybe illustrate something just for concept work. And, as a designer or like, a concept designer, like a lot of this stuff is just like, really, I can do all of that.
Yeah.
I think the scary side is it makes everybody an expert really fast, or at least people will perceive them to be that. And I think, it's not just the visual stuff, it's the text like ChatGPT or DALL-E or Da Vinci. All those things all of a sudden put the power of like this AI into your hands. And I think it's not just the creators that have to kind of be aware of what's going on. I think it's the collectors and the people consuming it. Right. You have to do your research and make sure that stuff that you're collecting is authentic and real. So
there's nuances behind that though. There's
industry changing.
There's nuances behind the word like using something for reference that comes from AI, right? Like I'll give you a perfect example. There's going to be trends. We're going to see trends that has to do with where the AI technology is at right now and who used it. So I saw something we all see it. We see in our feed on crypto Twitter or NFT Twitter or whatever. Like we see things in our feed and I can tell usually within a split second that's an AI art. And it's so funny because when I was out in Miami, I was staying with two really talented, awesome muralists and in Wynwood area. And when we finally went to I was with Allison Bamcat and we went to visit the other muralist who we were with. And I knew immediately when I saw this giant mural on a wall that's, he's been working on all weekend. I was like, I knew there was an AI element. So like I asked him later, I was like, hey, can I just ask like what was the reasoning behind the way you handled the line work toward the bottom right corner? And he was like, oh yeah. So I used, some AI reference that I knew it. I was like, I knew it. And I was just like, and my buddy who was my roommate was like, I had no idea. I didn't even know he used, any AI references. That just like changed, it like blew her mind. And so it's just interesting because I think to say like, in some sense, yes, like it might make some things more efficient, but also you're going to see how it stylistically is influencing people's work in that way, right? Like you're going to...
Okay, but what about when you look at like artists that are using IP that's not theirs, like Cause? One of my favorite artists is Cause. I could see The Simpsons, I could see Mickey Mouse, I could see all these different forms of IP being
I'm not
used
saying it in a negative way because
Right.
there's trends, right? So like that's a trend, right? Like the nostalgia hack, the art hack of like incorporating nostalgia into your work, like things that were already famous. That's something people already have a good feeling about. So then they incorporate that into their work and automatically we're like, oh, I like that. It reminds me of, this thing that I already loved since I was a child. So
but in the AI conversation, it's like, oh, you're stealing that reference, you're stealing that style. But in traditional forms, you're seeing people use it and make tons of money off of it. So I think that question comes up. I think, people's perception of, is this okay? Well, then you have to question this too, right? You have to question all that other stuff.
Well, I mean, yes, I'm not, I guess I was commenting more on like where you might go in your brain. Like I sketch with blue pencil. I'll sketch out like what I think how I want something to form. And then I'll come in with the graphite pencil afterwards. And then I'll complete it. Like I'll say like, okay, I didn't want to really make that line like this or that leaf to look like this. I want it to look more like this. I kind of do that with my brain. So my reference point is how I started it with this blues pencil sketch, and where I end up with it is usually based on how I like finalize my lines or whatever with my graphite pencil. And if I were to like, so I'm a little I'm being like hesitant, not out of like any other reason than I want to maintain the integrity of like how my creative like paths work and in my brain. That's where I was coming from. Like if I don't want to like, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I might never be ready to like incorporate how AI might influence where I would get how I get from point A to point B.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really important to, like, and my stuff is kind of janky. The perspective is not great. It's cartoony and stuff. And if I don't do it myself, it's not going to look like that.
Yeah.
It'll look too perfect, really. Like if I were to do it,
tell AI like draw this in the style of Pop Wonder.
And that's a thing. It's not a thing really yet, but it definitely could/will be soon.
Right.
And there's actually a guy that trained his own AI to do my stuff. He's a friend of mine, and it's pretty interesting. Doesn't look like my stuff though, but you can tell that there's some stuff happening. It's pretty cool to see because the traditional Midjourney and DALL-E haven't really picked up on my style yet. But this guy did his own AI that he fed all my stuff to.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. He calls it Not Wonder.
When collection, right?
Yeah, well, he's going to do a collection with a bunch of people. He approached me about it. I didn't really want it to just be me and him. All of the stuff is Not Wonder, but he's going to do a whole collection of a bunch of different artists and using his own AI to generate pieces in their style. And I think that's
pretty neat,
pretty cool. Because the other thing is, this dude has been doing AI since way before everybody else. Like probably 2018, 27, probably even early, like I remember him talking about it like a long time ago, back when it was like really noticeable, when it was all paisley and weird.
Yeah.
It's going.
Jeff Soto also, he's an OG in kind of that GAN.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you got to kind of give it up to those guys because there was nothing to benefit from by doing it back then, really.
Cool. I love that. That actually brings so much perspective. I'm really happy to hear that because we've talked about AI a lot on the show. I ask almost everybody that comes on for their perspective on it because I am so interested in it. And I try and the future of it is going to be insane. Like we're just scratching the surface, and it's not even just going to be images. You're going to be able to ask it to make you a TV show or a movie, and it'll spit out a whole thing for you. Like it's going to get out of control, and there's no stopping it. Like you said, Pop, there's no stopping.
No stopping, but you have a choice, right? I think collectors have the choice.
Yeah, of course.
See what they support.
Yeah, you support with your pocketbook.
And that goes back to just being transparent about like what you're using. What tools are you using? Are you using it? Cool.
Yeah. No, definitely.
These are my prompts.
Yeah. I would everyone, if you guys want a chance to say some kind of final words, if you want to shout anybody out, if you want to say anything like that, I would love to hear it. And then we can I really appreciate everybody's time. This was super special. This is the first time we've ever had this many people. The first time we've ever done like more than one guest even. So this is a really special episode. I'm glad it went for a while. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves and all that. But I'd love to give you guys a final word and Mumbot, you at the end if you want. You can say whatever you like. But yeah.
Go ahead. You guys go.
Okay, I'll go. Thanks for having me. It was a real pleasure for Mumbot to hit me up, and I'm glad I was available and to come on. And please come and follow me on Twitter, PopWonderNFT. PopWonder.info has all my links. I got some cool stuff coming up. 2022 was the year of saying no. 2023, I've been saying yes a little bit more. So I got some pieces coming out in some very cool collections, some of the biggest collections in space right now. So just keep an eye out for that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. Appreciate it.
Yep. My pleasure.
Thank you, Michael, for having me on the show. Thank you again, Mumbot, for hitting me up. I'm so glad I joined you guys. Really, this year I'm trying to say yes more to because I was so afraid of lots of things last year. So yeah, this year's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, Ykha, what a pleasure to hear from you. It's awesome that we can chat all the way on the opposite side of the planet. And hopefully one day our paths will cross. We get to meet in real life.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Cool.
I could be real quick. I just want to do a quick shout out to not only the artists in Ghost Club, but to some of the collectors in the space and people that are supporting it. It's definitely not just the creative community. It's an ecosystem filled with people that just love the work and love the art and love what we're doing. So shout out to all those people. We have collections coming soon. Check it out. We're excited. And then Michael, if you're ever looking for artists to interview, I mean, there's 75 plus artists in the Ghost Club. We'd love to figure out some sort of series or something to do with you, man.
Let's chat for sure. Cause no doubt. Thanks, Defiant. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for coming. Pop, Ykha, Defiant. We appreciate you and for being part of what makes Ghost Club so special. I mean, we couldn't be such a good, strong community if it weren't for people like you and some of the people who show up every day and participate and just say GM and come in and support each other. And of course, the collectors, other people who are just there and hanging out or maybe considering coming through, just don't be shy. Just come in, say hi, and thank you, NFT Catcher Podcast. Thank you, Mike.
Really thank you, Mumbot. Well, you know how much we love you around here, and we're lucky to have you as such a good friend of the show. And this was really fun. It was really great to hear you guys all talk back and forth and different perspectives and just really amazing stuff. The Ghost Club is incredible. Join the Discord. Check it out. Andy will put everybody's socials, and if you want to send us anything to put in the show notes, we'll happily do that. But this was an absolute pleasure, and we definitely will do some more stuff with the Ghost Club. And on that note, thank you so much, everybody, for listening. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.